Hello everyone, and welcome to the very first episode in my new Fallout 4 series, Wasteland Survival Guide. Just a heads up, this series is geared toward first-time players of the game and newcomers to the Fallout series in general. So, if you've got one or more playthroughs under your belt already, you might find a lot of the information here to be very basic stuff that you've probably already figured out. But who knows? Keep watching and you just might learn something new after all. Alright, let's get into the first episode, where I'm going to show you how to prepare yourself for leaving your home base of Sanctuary Hills for the first time, feeling confident and prepared for the hard road ahead. So Sanctuary Hills is a neighborhood that you live in with your family at the very start of the game. The bombs fall and you're forced to take shelter in Vault 111. When you emerge, the world has been laid waste and is home to an untold number of dangers. However, in your neighborhood of Sanctuary Hills, you are relatively safe, aside from the minor danger of a few bugs in some of the houses. But once those are dealt with, they never come back, and Sanctuary can be just that, your safe haven away from everything out there that wants to eat your face for dinner. So before you leave your little slice of heaven, you want to be ready to face whatever comes your way. There are 6 things you should focus on as soon as you leave the vault, and those are: get more guns and ammo, get better armor, hoard chems, cook food, scrounge for scrap, and last but definitely not least, mod your weapons.
Or maybe evil leprechauns.
If you're like me, you'll leave Vault 111 with your pockets stuffed full with absolutely everything in there that wasn't nailed down. In regards to weapons, that should include 2 10mm pistols plus ammo and 2 security batons. You should also have at least 5 stim packs if you found them all and didn't use any. That's not a lot of gear, so it's now time for some serious scrounging.
I like it.
The area around the vault is a treasure trove of useful stuff, so make sure you check every nook and cranny. Directly behind you, as you come out of the vault, there are 3 yellow crates. These will contain at least 1 Radaway or Rad-X each, along with some other random loot that may or may not be useful. Next, check out the little structure next to the vault. It will always contain a couple stim packs and a Molotov cocktail. If you ever want to go back down into the vault, just push the big red button, then go stand on the vault elevator, and it will lower you down again. You can come and go anytime you wish, and can even use it as a player home, since the area will never respawn, and items left there will never disappear. However, you cannot use the settlement crafting features inside the vault. Before you head down to Sanctuary, be sure to check out the other small structure, in which you can find some more ammo for your 10mm pistol. Next, head to Sanctuary, back down the same way you came up before the bombs fell. Head straight to your old house and talk to Codsworth, your robot butler. Go along with him as he helps you search the neighborhood. You'll encounter some bloat flies that are pretty easy to kill in or out of vats, or just let Codsworth handle it all on his own. Although you won't gain XP if you don't actually enter the fight yourself. Once you're finished, head directly out of that house and down the street to the left, until you come to the next intact house on the left. Here you will find the settlement workshop. Activate it and you are now able to use the workshop to improve Sanctuary Hills. You don't need to worry a whole lot about this feature just now. There will be plenty of time for that later. However, one feature of it might come in handy as you head back to the house where you last talked to Codsworth and begin your systematic looting of the neighborhood. I'm not going to show you that entire process, but I will tell you about the notable loot inside each house that you won't want to miss. In house number 1, you will find a pipe pistol hiding behind the stove. Pipe pistols are the most common gun type in the game, and the 36 caliber ammo they use is the most common type of ammo. It's not as good as a 10mm pistol, but it's nice to have on hand as an emergency backup weapon in the early levels of the game. Also in house number 1, you will find a novice locked safe under a child's crib. At this point, you won't be able to open it because you won't likely have any bobby pins. You can find 3 bobby pins in the washing machine in your own house, but if you'd rather not rush over there immediately, you can just use the workshop menu to scrap the safe, and all the contents will then be transferred to the workshop where you can go get them. You can also use this trick on safes that are above your lockpicking skill. Moving on, head counterclockwise around the cul-de-sac, passing by 2 demolished houses before coming to house number 2. Inside here you will find a cigar box, which are good to keep for bartering with later on. You will also find 2 TV dinner trays. These are made out of aluminum, which is an essential component in crafting gun mods. There is a caps stash in the closet beside a toolbox that contains a roll of duct tape. You can never ever have enough duct tape, since its core component is adhesive, and nearly every weapon and armor mod uses adhesive. Last of all in this house, you will find a partially hidden ammo box that contains some random ammo rounds. Before moving on to house number 3, head into the backyard of house number 2, and you will find the doors to a root cellar that someone had turned into a bomb shelter. Go inside to find some very valuable loot. Here you will find Radaway, Stimpaks, purified water, aluminum cans, some ammo, and also 3 gold bars, each worth 450 caps. These will go into your junk inventory, but do not scrap them. Sell them as soon as you meet your first trader. Don't worry, you won't need the gold for crafting. There is almost nothing that can be crafted using gold. And if one day you do find yourself needing some, there are plenty of gold watches and flip lighters that are worth diddly that you can use instead. When you come out of the root cellar, head over to the fallen tree that's leaning against the house and climb up onto the roof. Over near the chimney, you'll find a duffel bag that contains a random gun and ammo for it. Moving on to house number 3, you will find a Nuka-Cola in the refrigerator. You can drink these to gain plus 20 HP and plus 10 AP, which is basically your health and stamina, respectively. However, it also gives plus 5 radiation damage, so you may not want to use them. I personally sell all the Nuka-Cola I find, since with a value of 20 caps, their value per weight ratio is better than most of the guns you'll pick up. In the back left room of house number 3, you'll find a large safe with a novice lock. Unless you ran over to your own house to get those bobby pins, you won't be able to open it. However, you can just use the settlement building menu once again to scrap the safe, and the items will be transferred to the workshop bench. Moving on now to house number 4, your house. You will find a tank of Mr. Handy Fuel, which contains oil and is a very useful crafting ingredient. Also, you will find those 3 bobby pins in the washing machine. In your son Sean's bedroom, there are several useful things to grab, the most important being the special book, which you will find under the changing table. When you activate the book, it will give you the opportunity to put 1 more point into any one of your special stats. You will also want to pick up the 2 toy cars in the room, one on the floor and one inside the changing table. Toy cars contain screws, and these are used in nearly every gun mod, so you want to collect them whenever you see them. In Sean's closet, you will find the Blast Radius board game, which contains nuclear material, which you'll also want for gun mods. Don't worry, I'll be showing you how to do basic gun modding later in this video. Moving on to house number 5, you will find a cap stash in the corner by the dining room window, and a fan on the desk at the end of the hall. Fans contain screws. Next up is house number 6. Have your weapon ready when you go in because it's home to 2 rad roaches. The easiest way to kill them when they're coming towards you is to aim your gun at the floor, then shoot the bug once it crawls into your sight. This usually works, and you'll waste less bullets this way. Inside this house, you will find an oil can, which naturally contains oil. Also, don't forget to loot the meat from the rad roaches. In the refrigerator, you'll find a Nuka cherry. These give plus 50 HP and plus 25 AP when consumed. However, they will also give you plus 5 radiation. Their value is 40 caps, so they're actually worth twice as much as the regular Nuka Colas. They are definitely worth collecting and selling. On the windowsill of the bathroom, you will find a first aid box containing at least 1 stim pack and 1 radaway. There is a novice locked suitcase in one of the bedrooms that usually only contains a piece of clothing. I only mention it because you can pick the lock to gain XP, even though there's usually no other payoff. Unless laundered denim dresses are your thing.
Girls, watch out! Watch out! There's a 2-legged animal running about.
Moving on to house number 7, here you will find a kitchen scale which contains springs, also an essential gun modding component, a 10mm pistol in the shower, some caps in the clothes dryer. Also, you'll find some medics on a tipped over filing cabinet in one of the bedrooms. This will give you plus 25 damage resistance. However, you can become addicted to it, so use wisely. If your character is not one to use drugs, these can be sold for a decent amount of caps. In the other bedroom, you will find a novice locked safe. However, it is rigged with a makeshift bomb, so be sure you disarm that before opening the safe, or else you might get your hand blown off. Inside the safe, you will find random loot, which usually contains a weapon, some ammo, and some pre-war money. The next and last house on that side of the street is demolished, so you'll want to head across the street to house number 8. But first, loot the trash can by the bridge for a couple frag grenades. Use caution when entering house number 8, since there is a rad roach living here. Inside you should find a TV dinner tray, some pre-war money, a fishing rod, which contains springs, and an advanced lock safe hidden under a dresser. You can just scrap it in the build menu. Lastly, you'll want to grab the radaway in the bathroom mirror before moving on. Just outside this house, you'll find some .38 caliber rounds in the broken mailbox. The next house is demolished, so you'll want to head on past it to the last house, and this will be the one with the settlement workshop and the main house in the community. This is the one that most of your settlers will like to hang in and around, and it's also got the weapons and armor modding stations, and the power armor station. Notable loot is pretty much everything next to the weapons workbench, including some duct tape in the red toolbox. While you're here, check the workshop for the items from the safes you scrapped. Take any ammo, weapons, chems, or money you find there. Now that you've looted all the valuables from Sanctuary, it's time to upgrade your weapons a little bit. You won't have enough materials to completely mod each of your guns, so you'll want to choose carefully. I suggest focusing on your 10mm pistol by adding a hardened receiver, which will give it 4 additional damage. And adding glow sights will make aiming a lot easier. You likely won't have enough adhesive to mod this weapon any further, but you could still add a hardened receiver or something to your pipe pistol if you wanted to. However, I would suggest saving your materials for improving the better guns you're going to get very soon. There is also an armor modding station, however at this point you won't have found any armor pieces to mod, so you'll have to use this later after you find some. Now, chances are it's gotten dark, or very nearly dark, while you've painstakingly searched every nook and cranny of Sanctuary. Whether or not you travel at night is, of course, your choice, but if you're like me, you'll find it easier and more enjoyable traveling in the daylight, especially when heading into unfamiliar territory where you don't know the dangers. If that is the case, then don't worry. You can build a bed or a chair and either sleep or wait until morning. Just open up your build menu and construct whichever piece of furniture tickles your fancy. You can place it anywhere within Sanctuary, so pick your favorite spot. Sitting in any chair will give you the option to wait for up to 24 hours. Likewise, using any unowned bed allows you to sleep for up to 24 hours, and doing so will gain you the well-rested bonus, which will give you plus 10% XP for 12 in-game hours. This is another great reason to take advantage of a good night's rest, especially before turning in the final task in a quest to the quest giver, since completing most quests grants a significant amount of XP, making an extra 10% extremely worth it. It may be important to note that fast traveling actually passes in-game time as if you traveled to the location on foot, so you may find that your well-rested bonus has worn off once you arrive at your destination. So keep this in mind if you like to fast travel and want to take advantage of this bonus. Once morning has come, head out of Sanctuary toward the footbridge you crossed on your way in from the vault. But before crossing it, turn left and follow the stream until you come to a military vehicle on a small island. There will be a couple blood bugs here, and if you're careful, you can kill them before they see you. Work quickly in this area because you'll be taking a significant amount of radiation damage from the nuclear waste containers lying around. You'll want to quickly grab the army helmet on a brick next to the ramp and loot the first aid box inside the vehicle. Then make a run for it back to Sanctuary. The army helmet will give you plus 10 damage resistance, and is the best headgear you can get this early in the game. You're almost ready to leave Sanctuary, but before you do, head on over to the cooking station sitting just outside the last house near the bridge. Use it to cook all the meat you picked up from the bugs you killed. Yeah, it sounds gross, but consuming cooked meat will restore your health significantly, as well as giving you various other buffs depending on the kind of meat. These can be used in lieu of stim packs and are especially valuable in the early game when stim packs are harder to come by. Now you're ready to head out of Sanctuary. Directly on the other side of the bridge you'll find a dead raider with some good loot, including the Drifter outfit. This armor is a personal favorite of mine, since I think it's more pleasing to the eye than the vault suit. Like the vault suit, it has plus 5 damage resistance. However, it also has plus 7 energy resistance, while the vault suit has plus 10 radiation resistance. I personally think energy resistance is more useful, since it's a lot easier to avoid radiation damage than it is to avoid energy damage, like from an enemy's laser weapon. So I usually go with the Drifter outfit this early in the game. Whichever outfit you choose, before you continue onward, be sure to loot the duffel bag sitting beside the statue above the road. This will contain a random weapon and ammo for it. Heading on down the road, you will come to the Red Rocket truck stop, where you will meet Dogmeat, your first traveling companion.
Hey, boy. What are you doing out here all by yourself? You lose your owner, buddy? Okay, then. Let's stick together.
Soon after that, you will be attacked by a pack of mole rats. They are weak enemies, and you can kill them easily by gun bashing, but they are fast and will burrow out of the ground behind you, taking you by surprise. So keep moving and try to stay on pavement if you can, which they can't burrow through. Once they're all dead, be sure to loot their bodies for meat, which you can cook, and for their hides, which you can turn into leather, from which to make armor mods. Now it's time to loot the Red Rocket Station. Don't forget the stim pack and first aid box next to the fuel pumps outside, the fan on top of the workshop, and the stim pack on top of the yellow piece of equipment next to the toolbox. I would suggest just looting everything you find here, since Red Rocket is actually a settlement location that is immediately available upon arrival. All you have to do is activate the workbench and the place is yours. So now you can store anything here that you don't want to carry with you. I suggest doing this so you have room to carry more stuff later. Stuff stored in the workshop will be shared between all the different crafting stations within the workshop area. However, you cannot access items in the Red Rocket workshop from the Sanctuary workshop, or vice versa. Be sure to loot all the way around the outside of the building as well, where you will find a hard hat on top of an ice cooler. The hard hat gives you +4 damage resistance, which isn't as good as the army helmet, but if you're not concerned about the inferior protection and just like the look of it better, then maybe this is the helmet for you. Next to the ice cooler, there is also a cooking station, where you can cook all the mole rat meat you just got. Heading down the hill behind the cooking station, you'll find a small cave that is actually a mole rat den. Be sure to pick up the glowing fungus that grows near the entrance. This is a rare ingredient used in making rataway. Inside, you'll have to fight a couple mole rats before you can loot the place. You will find, of note, some more glowing fungus, a random weapon and ammo, and also a fusion core. Fusion cores are rare and necessary if you want to wear power armor, so keep every one you find. Now, there's just one more thing you should do before heading out into the wide world, and this will gain you one of the best pistols in the game, as well as some better armor. Head across the street from Red Rocket and keep going roughly east along the ridge until you come to a rock outcropping where you'll find a water pump, beside which is the skeleton of some unfortunate soul. This is where you'll find a snub-nosed .44 pistol and a box of ammo. The .44 pistol has a base damage of 48, making this a very powerful weapon this early in the game. However, ammo for it is rare and expensive, so use it wisely. Getting the Scrounger perk will increase your chances of finding .44 caliber ammo. Also, there aren't many modifications you can do to this gun without the gun nut perk, but a fully upgraded .44 pistol is a devastating weapon, even into the late game. Also found near the skeleton is a box of bobby pins, and some rataways, Red-X, and a can of purified water. There are enemies in this area, so be on your guard. You may encounter mole rats or raiders, but they're pretty weak. The raiders are camping nearby, and if they don't aggro while you're looting the water pump, you can snipe them from cover. You'll get quite a bit of nice loot from these raiders, including one or more double-barrel shotguns plus ammo, and road leathers. Road leathers have a base damage of only 2. However, you can equip many different moddable armor pieces over it, significantly increasing your damage resistance even into the late game. You may also find raider leathers, which have the same damage resistance as the road leathers, but they look a little more ragtag, and the male version is bare-chested. They also allow armor pieces to be worn on top of them, so choose whichever leathers you think looks best for your character. Be sure to loot the raiders' camp while you're there, and once you've done that, head back to the Red Rocket, making sure to loot the toolbox on the way for some chems and duct tape. Once back at the Red Rocket, take a moment to further upgrade your weapons before moving on. You are now more equipped to face the dangerous world of Fallout 4. I hope this video was helpful for you. Do you know of anything I missed? Let me know down in the comments. If you learned something new, please give it a like, and if you'd like to see more videos in my Wasteland Survival Guide series, please hit the subscribe button. Also, if you have ideas for future episodes, leave me suggestions down below. Thank you for watching, and have fun exploring Fallout 4.